Good East positioning of the sun, everybody. This is Blue Fang, and welcome back to a new type of video today. Today we're doing a Psychonauts mind ranking. We recently just beat the game, and so I think I'm more qualified than ever to talk about all the levels in the original game. Note, there's no influence at all from Psychonauts 2. Only Psychonauts 1 is brought into this list. With that being said in mind, we have 10 levels to go over, and as such, let's go over them with... Oh, do I actually have to? Okay. Number 10, the Brain Tumbler Experiment. Now, to initially start this off, the reason this is my least favorite, the only positive of the there's a lot of reasons why this is my least favorite, but the only positive of this is that it does foreshadow future events quite nicely, and it also has a pretty good tank fight. But it is overall really bland. When this game is known for having very creative set pieces, especially one that's coming on later in the list, having one as bland as this does not feel great. Additionally, unlike every other level in the game where it's once and done, this one you have to leave and this one you have to go in through three times. The first time you go in, then you find some foreshadowing, get taken out, and then get pulled into Sasha's mind to learn combat. And then you go back in it again, beat up the thing, and then he learns that you don't know how to levitate. So you have to go out completely and go into Mia's mind, get the levitation, and then head back in for the third visit. It's the third visit that really drags this one down. I don't like backtracking in a game that's so good about not needing to backtrack. And that's why this is number 10. Number 9, the Meat Circus. Alright, so first off, let's get something amazing out of the way. The music. This is one of the best tracks in the game. And quite honestly, makes sense why. However, even and for a final level, this is a creative concept too. Not only fighting the main villain's inner demons, but Raz's inner demons as well. Which might explain the difficulty spike, but that's the problem. It's such a huge difficulty spike that this game in no way prepares you for. However, I should say that there are very specific segments. Like, I don't think any of the boss fights are hard, and while this guy and his spinning swords may be hard, it's really just that 3D segment in the Rising Water where you have to climb up. You can tell in my finale that's where I spent the most time on that one obstacle. That's the hardest part here, and it really drags the rest of this level down. Raz's father is a pretty neat character, although Psychonauts 2 does kind of ruin what they set up over here. But whatever. The Meat Circus is not that great of a finale. It was doing so good and then fell on its face at the very end. Anyways, number 8, Mia's Dance Party. Yet again, we have bland environments. I think this one is the least bland out of the very bland ones, but it is still a bland level nevertheless. We do get the levitation power up, which is very cool and does break a lot of the challenge of many levels in the future in here. But the reason this one's not so low is if under the other tutorial levels, is for completionist's sake. I want you to look at this image here. You already see this one that he collected, but where's the other figment that he didn't get? I'll give you a chance to look for it. If you noticed, I could have just used the scrolling. You notice it's over here. Anyways, there's a secret room that's cool, but there's one thing really isn't going to save this level that much, and that's why it's down here at number 8. Still better than the Meat Circus and the Brain Tumbler experiment, but that's not very high praise now, is it? Number 7, Sasha's shooting gallery. Gives you this game's equivalent of a gun. However, this leads us to the reason why this is so low. Even though it's a cool atmosphere and is the most fitting mind for its character, combat is not this game's strong suit. Even the devs have admitted that combat is not this game's strong suit. This is something they fixed a lot in Psychonauts 2, but in Psychonauts 1, combat is where this game lacks. That's why its boss fights are puzzles, not outright fights. And so when having something that is purely focusing around enemies, you're not exactly in for a fun time now, are you? So coming in at number 6, we have Gloria's Theater. Let's get something out of the way. The catwalks are nice, which is very cool, but it doesn't mostly take place in the catwalks. It mostly takes place in in a singular room. The theater itself, the stage. Jasper is easily the best character, and with him being the Phantom, that's very, very cool. But the actors are so annoying, and with the main gimmick being that you have to with the main gimmick of this level, you have to listen to their annoying acting so many times, especially if you get it wrong. Like if you get this wrong, you're gonna regret it. Regret it because you're gonna have to hear these guys talk more than you want to, and it's already bad enough when they talk. So that's why Gloria's Theater is down so low, and the first Asylum Mine to come up. But nevertheless, it still is a pretty cool level. Anyways, coming in at number 5, we have Black Velvetopia, the second of the Asylum Mines. Now, getting something out of the way, this is what I meant with the brain tumbler experiment earlier, that it could be looking so much better. Look at this. This isn't even the best looking portion of the level, and already there's so much more detail going on. This is the best looking level in the entire series. But the reason that it's knocked down a few pegs is El Odio can be a humongous pain in the streets. He's the biggest part of reset platforming. If you watched my 3 videos on it, that's also something that is really kind of iffy. The Dalmatian, you have 3 dogs in this level. The Dalmatian is easily the best, as the Dalmatian provides the true story that Edgar is holding back. But the Dalmatian also leads me into the segues of arrowheads. More often than not, you might actually need to leave this mine to go get arrowheads. Unless, of course, you were the opposite of me and didn't go get all those side cores. Save up your heads for this one. You're gonna need them. But I will say this about Black Velvetopia that shoots it back up into the upper half of the list. It does have the best fight. In my opinion, the fight against Elodio is honestly the best fight in the game. And that's high praise for this game, considering it goes with the confusion grenade. But let's move on to number 4, Basic Braining. Yeah, basic. I was not expecting this at all. For the very first level in the game, I was not expecting Basic Braining to be up this high. But Basic Braining is up here for a good reason. One, it's a good teacher. It's very effective in getting you to learn the game's basic and core mechanics that you're going to be needing for the rest of the time. It certainly got me used to the things that I need. And 2, unlike most tutorial levels, Mario and Luigi can take a thing from this. This one doesn't waste your time, giving simple explanations to those who are not ready. And 3, the biggest element, considering things later on in the story, you find out later that this entire level is a lie. It's all one big bombastic lie that the coach made up. So he must have some good mental fortitude. But that moves us on to number 3, Lungfishopolis. First off, this level has the Godzilla gimmick. Now, Lungfishopolis being as high may surprise you all because in the fan base it seems clear that in this game, nay, the series, the 3 worst levels are the Brain Tumbler experiment, for reasons I mentioned, the Meat Circus, for reasons I mentioned, and Lungfishopolis for the Godzilla gimmick, making it humongous and giant. Although, honestly, I think that this level is just short enough that the Godzilla gimmick doesn't outlast its welcome here. If it were longer, then yeah, this level would go down a lot further. But we do have the Coach Hammerell boss fight, which does help bring things back to reality, and the Shady Rebellion is super funny. And like I said, the Godzilla gimmick doesn't last long enough for it to get truly annoying, in my opinion. So Lungfishopolis is another run underdog, but it ended up earning its spot. And then we get into the next 2 levels. Quite honestly, y'all are gonna hate me for this, but number 2 is the Milkman Conspiracy. This is by far the funniest level in the game. I mean, how can you not understand? I am the milkman. My milk is delicious. But and here, I like the conspiracy gimmick with the G-men being stupid, and you have the items to blend in, making people think that you are truly not a part of the conspiracy, which is very cool. I like that a lot. But the only thing holding this level back from the number one spot for me is that I find it easy to get lost in. Like the conspiracy, it's very convoluted. You can find your way back on the right path, but it's super convoluted and super easy to get lost in. And as such, I often find that this level lasts a little too long, and this has the worst soundtrack song in the game. I guess it would make sense considering the main gimmick here, but I don't know. I don't like that song. I would still say, hands down, this is probably the objective best level in the series, but this is my list. And because it's my list, we're not going with the objective best, are we? We're going with my personal favorite, my number one, Waterloo World. I love the board game aesthetic here. It's very cool. I like going into the world of the board game, moving around the pieces, playing a game inside of a game to win, like you're actually winning. That was a creative and clever gimmick, in my opinion. And what? And Napoleon is a great antagonist for the simple fact that he isn't an antagonist. He feels more like an actual person trying to help Fred overcome his regain the idea of victory. And that's another thing. Fred has an arc throughout this entire level. I like how Fred goes from being someone hopeless, like doesn't even believe in himself, to as you progress further in the level, starts to slowly gain hope and actually try and fight back. Sure, there are segments where Napoleon cheats towards the end, but that's the thing. If you look at it the way that I choose to look at it, Napoleon is trying to enforce the idea of winning into Fred. Fred. And people cheat. So what's he going to do to make sure that Fred stays? He's going to cheat, which helps throughout Fred's arc. And playing the game is super fun and cool. So like I said, Waterloo World is easily my favorite level in Psychonauts. But that's it. So, what was your personal what was your personal favorite level in Psychonauts? Let me know in the comments below and how you would rank them. But this is not your ranking. This is my ranking. But until that time happens, please remember my name is Blue Fang, and I bid you all a good west positioning of the sun. So, I'll see you guys then.